Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Day, and as I said last week, I have something special for you guys this week. Now, I returned to Yu-Gi-Oh! Near the tail end of 2019. As soon as I jumped in, I started going to locals every week. I went to, I think, 3 regional tournaments before COVID shut us down. And the deck I have stuck with pretty much since it came out, and it's the one I know the most, is Cyber Dragons. Now, when I first jumped in, I didn't really know what I was doing. I've had to modify the deck a million times to be able to be even a little bit competitive. But I've kept up with the meta. I've kept up with the different ban lists. I know we just had a ban list in September. And between playing IRL, playing online, I've gone up against different decks in the meta, and I've found a few techs, a few strategies that can really help when going up against these decks. And this video is to tell you guys what I think as far as techs, strats, and deck builds. Now, that being said, this video is going to be divvied up into 3 parts. There'll be a timestamp for each part in the description. First part is going to be different techs, different cards I think you could put into Cyber Dragon decks of different types that are, really helpful. This second section is going to be matchups, different matchups in the meta, and strategies that I've used when going up against these decks. Stuff that's worked, and stuff that's a little more niche. And then lastly, I'm going to show you guys my deck build. It's a deck build I use both IRL and online, and I'll tell you guys why I decided to use some of the cards I did. But with that being said, let's jump into the first section. Alright guys, we're going to start off with some pretty basic techs. These are cards I think should be in just about every deck, and then we'll get into the spice in a little bit. Now, majority of the time, there's 2 different versions of Cyber Dragon decks. There is the trap-based version, which only plays 1 Cyber Dragon and a buttload of traps. Then there is the combo variant, which plays 3 Cyber Dragons, machine duplication, all that fun stuff. Regardless of which version you're playing, Jizukiro, the Star Destroying Kaiju, should be in either one. This card is silly. It is a light machine kaiju. It is searchable thanks to Separate Repair Plant and Cyber Dragon Core, and it helps with so many problem monsters. A monster can't be targeted or destroyed. Oh well, you just drop a kaiju on it, and then you can just contact fuse your monster with the kaiju. So you could summon Core, search Repair Plant, use Repair Plant to grab Jizukiro, give them Jizukiro, and then immediately contact. It's a super powerful card. It's a really useful strategy, and it should really be abused by everybody. Another card that I feel that should be in both kinds of decks is Predaplant Vert Anaconda. I know it's been out for a little while now, but the card is stupid. It is an automatic OTK maker. Any 2 monsters, you have an OTK. Hell, with another tech in a little bit, it even can give you control. Now, the next set of cards are more favored toward the combo variant of the deck, but that is the True Calamities package. Now, I've seen people try synchro packages and whatnot, but with the Jet Synchron banned now, I think this is still the better version. It requires True King of all Calamities, Infinite Track Anchor Drill, Infinite Track River Stormer, and if you want, Heavy Forward. Basically, the way it works is you use Anchor Drill with any Cyber Dragons or Galaxy Soldier to make them level 9s, and you immediately get True King of all Calamities. True King of all Calamities is a super powerful card that can cut your opponent out of monsters for 2 turns. The reason you use River Stormer and Heavy Forward lets you search an Infinite Track monster out of the deck when you play it, so you can just grab Anchor Drill, and then you can actually attach it to a Machine XYZ monster as another material. So you can attach it to Infinity and make Infinity bigger and have more negates. And then River Stormer is a rank 5 XYZ that's attached to search for an Earth Machine monster, so you can search Anchor Drill. The reason I think it's a good idea to play both instead of one or the other is because if you don't open up Anchor Drill or Heavy Forward, you can still use your extra deck to get to Anchor Drill. There's a whole long combo that lets you go from a core and a machine dupe all the way into True King of all Calamities. It's pretty dope. And honestly, if you can get True King out with an Infinity, you pretty much have game. Another card that helps with going first, it's one that I didn't want to use, but honestly the card is too bunkers not to use. And it actually helps with the going first turn, because you can either go True King of all Calamities and this card, or Infinity in this card, and this card is Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. The card is stupid. It's probably one of the most broken cards I've ever seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's probably going to get banned either this list or coming up or the list after that. But the card's silly. You can easily make Predator Plant Vert Anaconda, use Red Eyes Fusion from the deck, make it, and now you have 2 Omni Negates, or lock your opponent out of monsters with an Omni Negate, and he has a destruction effect. Like, the card's silly. Now, this last monster deck, this is a monster deck, is an extra deck monster that I hadn't tried until somebody recommended it to me, and the change is ridiculous. So, one of the big hand traps that people think work on Cyber Dragons is Nibiru. Problem is, if they Nibiru too late, Infinity can negate it. If they don't, they can hit Nova. And hitting Nova lets you put a Machine Fusion extra deck into play. And Invoked Mechaba is probably the best target for that I have ever seen. Invoked Mechaba is technically an Omni Negate based on what's in your hand. And being able to just spin it out just for your opponent trying to punish you is nuts. If they get rid of a Nova for any reason, if they negate his summon, you get out a Mechaba. It's bonkers. And considering one of the matchups we're going to talk about in a little bit, like, that card, absolutely stupid. Now, a couple of, these are more like stable cards. You don't have to run them, but I think they help. These are spells. Up first, we got Forbidden Droplet. I don't like Dark Ruler no more because of the fact that you can't damage your opponent. We are Cyber Dragon, we are an OTK deck. Our job is to punch our opponent in the face so hard they die. That being said, these big negate boards are a pain in the ass, but telling their opponent they can't respond as we negate their board is amazing, and then we can still continue to do damage. It's also the reason I don't like Evenly Matched. I actually played Evenly Matched for a while, but having to give up my battle phase to banish their board, while great, it still should have been, the game should have been over that turn. Which is why I also prefer Lightning Storm or Heartbeast Feather Duster. Lightning Storm is a $100 card for a goddamn reason. Ever since I switched to that card, my win rate's actually gone up. It's an amazing card. Heartbeast Feather Duster being unbanned. We don't need it because we do have Lightning Storm. If we don't have Lightning Storm, it's a good alternative. As far as monster boards, Cyber Dragon does a pretty good job of breaking boards, but back row is a real pain in the ass for us, especially since we can't see what we're dealing with. The last card I think should be in every Cyber Dragon deck. Honestly, I think it should be in every deck, period. It's an honorary Cyber Dragon card because Infinity is on it, but it's infinite impermanence. This card wins games. Monster Negate, Spell and Trap Negate can be used as a hand trap when you're going second, and consider this is a going second deck. It's too good not to use. I love this card. It is my favorite trap card, and I 100% think it is still the best trap card in the game. People argue that it was evenly matched. The problem with evenly matched is you have to be in a kind of pretty shitty situation for it to be good. With that being said, those are all the different techs I think really benefit the deck. Now, let's jump over into matchups. Alright, welcome back again, guys. Now we're here to talk about the different matchups in the meta. Now, I went through a bunch of different lists of what people consider the top 5 decks. Unfortunately, I do not have enough data on Rocket Dragon Link and our matchup against them, so I can't really give you too many strategies on that. I can, however, give you strats on what I would do against Adamancipator, since they make similar boards. The thing about Adamancipator and Rocket Dragon Link is they make, they have a few Omni Negates, a Monster Negate. Cyber Dragons are not scared of Appaloosa. Your opponent has to play really weird to make Appaloosa work on us. Because if Appaloosa's in the extra monster zone, we're just going to contact use it. Borreload Savage is an Omni Negate, and he gets pretty big, but in reality, that's one Omni Negate. And he only gets to use one per turn. Herald of Arclight, we can just swing into it. A lot of people see the 2 negates and they get baffled by it, but you can literally just special summon a Cyber Dragon, go to battle phase, swing into the Arclight, and then go to main phase 2 and continue your play. Now your opponent's down to 1 Omni Negate. Now, I know it's not ideal because you have to give up our battle phase again, but to break a board like that, it can be worth it. Now, matchups I can't help you with. First off, Dogmatica. A lot of people are saying Dogmatica is the top deck in the game, or the second or third deck in the game. because it's so good and so good against going against extra deck heavy decks, which Cyber Dragon is. But it also usually has to be splashed with another engine. So, the big cards in Dogmatica. Maximus. Maximus makes me smile now. As you guys know, Maximus can special summon itself, and you can get your opponent can get rid of 2 cards from their extra deck to get rid of 2 cards from your extra deck. Well, it turns out that if you send Cyber Dragon Nova off of that effect, you now get to summon a Machine Fusion. Cyber Dragon Nova says it can be sent from, as long as it's sent by opponent's card effect to the graveyard. It doesn't matter where it's from. It just has to go from your possession. So if for some reason it got banished and then put back in your graveyard by opponent's card effect, it would trigger. Well, now we have invoked Mechaba. So they use Maximus, they send our card, cool, we get basically an Omni Negate. Fleur, don't ask me to pronounce the whole name, I'm not doing it. But Fleur is the one that can negate monster effects. Her biggest flaw is A, your opponent has to special summon a monster from the extra deck in order to summon it, or to special summon it, and you have to have another Dogmatic monster on the board. We don't need to play our extra deck until we're going for game, unless we're going for serious control early on. Our monsters are big enough, like our Cyber Dragons are 21s, our Galaxy Soldiers can be summoned, can still be normal summoned. A lot of people don't do it, but we can normal summon it. I actually beat a Dogmatica player by special summoning a Galaxy Soldier, searching out another copy of Galaxy Soldier, and then tributing the Galaxy Soldier I special summoned to summon it, to attack his monster with the normal summon Galaxy Soldier, because it does have 2k. Not to mention, we also have Cyber Eltanin, which is a powerful ass card that we can run that isn't an extra deck monster. It can get huge and wipe an entire board. And lastly, Ecclesia, again, special summoned itself if your opponent summons a monster from the extra deck, but it's only got 15/15. Again, we could run over that, go into an extra deck monster to get see if we can bait out anything, and then continue our plays. Like, Dogmatica is cool, but the fact is, it depends too much on what your opponent's doing, and that really helps us. Eldritch. Eldritch is actually my favorite deck in the meta to go against, because it's probably the best matchup, or second best matchup for Cyber Dragons. So, the biggest thing I noticed about Eldritch is that because the deck depends so heavily on the Golden Lord, if you can keep him off the field, the deck gets severely nerfed. That being said, if you can keep him out of the graveyard too, the deck is dead. And we have a way to do both with Cyber Dragon Infinity. If you can absorb Golden Lord and never detach him, which is a little tough, don't get me wrong, but if you can get Infinity on side of a Dragoon, or on side of other threats that your opponent has to deal with, and never detach him so they can never bring him back to the graveyard, all of their trap monsters lose all of their effects. The only trap that's even really a pain is Conquistador, but they need a Golden Lord to be able to pop a card. Guardian can be a pain because it can reduce a monster to 0, but again, they have to have Golden Lord on the board. Hakuero, the one that banishes from grave, yeah, that can hurt a little bit, but we're Cyber Dragons, we have Cyberload Fusion. So, even at the worst, if you just keep sending Golden Lord to grave, they have to keep on giving up cards to keep on summoning them back out. It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but after a while, it can really take a toll. The last deck we're going to talk about is Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs just won't die. They keep on coming back, so I've had to adapt on how to play against them. Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is the ultimate FU to any deck that uses Link monsters and XYZs, because once the monster's set, you can't do it. But that effect is only once per turn, and Cyber Dragon have a ruling that can circumvent it a little bit, and that is Contact Fusion. Contact Fusion can be done even with face down cards. It's an old ruling. It's been around since, how long ago was that? Gladiator Beast Geyseris was like the big thing, because you would set Best of the Area and then Contact Fuse from there. So if you have a Cyber Dragon and any other monster, regardless, your opponent has to use the Conductor Tyranno, or you're just going to link into a monster that can't go face down. And if you go into Seeger, you can literally just go to battle phase, pump him up, and swing over Conductor Tyranno. Miscellaneousaurus is probably the biggest pain of the deck because of the fact that it makes their dinos unaffected, but it's only for that main phase, and that's a thing I always forget about that. Like, again, you can go to battle phase, go to main phase 2, continue your plays like nothing happened. It's not super advantageous, but to be able to play normally and start minusing your opponent's resources, it's kind of a big deal. Now, Logia and Dolka on top of a Conductor Tyranno is where things start to get a little dicey. That's a monster negate that can be used twice. A spell and trap or monster negation, summon negation that can be used once. Plus Tyranno flipping stuff face down. But trap variant, if you went first, you have a whole set of back row to force your opponent to negate. If you're playing the golden second version, again, Forbidden Droplet is stupid. Lightning Storm is dumb. Infinite Impermanence wins games. I know those aren't actually Cyber Dragon cards, but they're easy ways to help deal with these cards. And then as soon as you stop the monster negate, your monsters just go off. And another thing I found out is if Core gets negated, you can then use his graveyard effect because he was never summoned, so his on-summon effect never triggered. So if they summon him and they want to negate him to try and shut down your place from the get-go, cool, now his graveyard effect's alive. That's all the info I've got on those current decks. This is the deck build I'm running. This is the extra deck, and there's also the side deck I'm currently running. As you guys know, I'm playing Dragoon, so Dark Magician, Red Eyes. They do suck to draw into them, but as long as you don't draw both of them, it can be okay, because you can use Red Eyes Fusion to fuse from the hand too. My one Jizakiru, 3 Cybers. The reason I play 3 Galaxy Soldiers is because you never want to have a time where you can't search a Galaxy Soldier. I've had many games where I've had to discard Galaxy Soldier to summon Galaxy Soldier to search Galaxy Soldier. I play 2 Infinite Track Anchor Drills along with 2 Heavy Forwards. I was trying 3 in 1. I just wanted to make sure I can always pull it out of deck if I can. I do play 1 Veer for chain blocking, and because I do play Link monsters, so he does help with Link plays. 3 Core, 2 Naxter, 3 Hertz, standard. Overload Fusion, Red Eyes Fusion, 2 Lightning Storms. I was going to play 3, but space. I am playing a combo variant, so I do need to keep my space tight. I do play the 1 Rev system because it is a searchable Monster Reborn. The difference is Monster Reborn can revive anything, whereas Rev system can only revive Cyber Dragons. So, Nova, Infinity, Galaxy Soldier, Anchor Drill, all those cards can't be hit by Rev system, but they can be hit by Monster Reborn. That's the reason I run both. I play 3 Infinite Impermanence, 2 Overflow. A lot of people only play 1. That card not only is our only answer to Mystic Mine, it's just a good trap card also. It pops a bunch of stuff. I do need to fit Cyberload back in here somewhere because I took it out to try, because I was trying things without it. But I do miss the card, so I do need to fit it at least in the side deck for when I play against a deck that wants to banish my stuff heavy. I'm siding my hand traps because, like I said, Cyber Dragon excels at breaking boards. So if I can just break the board, I don't really necessarily need to stop the board from happening. Altanin, if my opponent makes boards that can't be destroyed, I can just send them to the graveyard. Now, the reason I'm running Sphere Mode instead of Nibiru, there's actually a big reason for that. Nibiru can be outed in so many different ways. Raw Sphere Mode can't. Now, normally, I don't like Raw Sphere Mode because it leaves the monster on your opponent's side of the board. They're just going to link it away. In the case of Cyber Dragons, you Raw Sphere Mode a big board, and you win. Because you could just eat it with Infinity, make an OTK board, and then just punch them in the face. It's a big difference because of the way this deck plays. As you see, I have my Calamities package, I have my Mechabuzz, my Dragoons. This is all the stuff I crammed in this deck, and it does have a pretty good win rate. I would say at least 80-85% of my games. I usually end up losing when I come across something I don't really know, but it is what it is. Now, that is it for this video, guys. This was a little bit of a long one. I'm sorry about that. I hope I gave you guys some information that you didn't know before. I hope I came out and gave you something to help you as far as deck building, as far as how to deal with some of the meta. If there's any other decks you want to tell me to talk about with Cyber Dragon going up against it, it is my baby. I would love to do the research. I would love to help you guys out. We're all one big Cyber Dragon family, right? Hail Cydra, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.